One of the biggest roller coaster mysteries is the B&M Surf Coaster. To this day, nobody knows what the surf coaster will be. People have many different opinions on what this mystery ride could be. These are my personal predictions on the B&M Surf Coaster. Before we get into the video, I wanted to point out that these websites aren't mine, and there are links in the description if you would like to check them out for yourself. What do we know so far? Well, not much. Back in May of 2020, a Reddit user posted information for a shipment headed to SeaWorld Orlando in Florida. This shipment was for 14 pieces that weighed over 22,000 pounds. Also, something to note is that this shipment was labeled SF-A. B&M labels their models using abbreviations. For example, stand-up would be SU and dive machine would be DM. So SF could be a surf coaster, which B&M filed some paperwork for as a new model. This also had the letter A after the SF, indicating it would be the first one, which makes sense because if we already had one of these coasters built, I wouldn't be making this video. I have a few ideas for what types of coasters these could be, so I came up with 4 predictions that I will share now. One prediction is a new generation of stand-up. This is the most common prediction that enthusiasts have. The B&M stand-up is often regarded as a pretty bad model due to the seats. These seats are called bicycle seats, which can cause a lot of pain for people. During the positive G-filled moments, the riders are pushed down into the uncomfortable seats, which can cause some pain, especially for those of the male gender. Now besides this, stand-ups are pretty thrilling rides. Being in the standing position instead of sitting down is a unique change that provides a new level of excitement. So B&M might want to expand upon this. Also, standing is a very common thing in surfing. The reason I say this is because B&M names their coasters very similar to the word they represent. The dive coaster dives to the ground. The wing coaster has wings on the sides of the train. And the floorless coaster has no floor. See what I mean? This is a valid point when backing up this prediction. Of course, B&M would have to change the seats in order to make this a more comfortable ride. Maybe add more padding on the seats or change the style of seating entirely, and it could take away all of that pain that ruined the stand-up coasters. Prediction 2 also follows the surfing idea. This time, the coaster would be a water coaster. To this day, B&M has never made a water coaster. That has mainly been reserved for Intamin and Mack rides. But I think B&M could bring more to the water coaster department that Mack and Intamin are unwilling to try. B&M is the master of inversions. If B&M could find a safe way to add inversions to a water coaster, maybe making the restraints a bit bulkier, the ride could be so much more thrilling. This new factor in water coasters with inversions could persuade parks in buying the B&M version instead of the Intamin. Water coasters are some of the most popular rides, especially during the summer weeks. But here is why this is leading me away from this prediction. Why would SeaWorld Orlando buy this type of coaster if they already have Journey to Atlantis, which is another water coaster? It wouldn't make sense having 2 water coasters, as the worst one would be sitting dormant, wasting money, and gathering dust. My third prediction isn't very common. Typically while surfing, people stand facing sideways across the water. Well, what if we take this concept and stick it on a roller coaster? My idea is that we take the wing-style seating on either side of the track and turn the seats so that they are facing the sides. The reason we used the wing-style seating is that it would make more sense boarding the trains. This would be a very unique experience that currently no ride has extreme elements with. This would also make sense with SeaWorld. The closest coaster to this would be Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens, Tampa, and that is a spinning coaster. Spinning coasters sometimes face the sides, but also face the middle and the back. This means that always facing the side would be a very unique experience, especially with inversions. Let's take a 0G roll, for example. If we were facing the sides, that means banked 90 degrees, you would be facing either straight down or straight up. Then you would of course be upside down, but seeing more of the world flip around. Then you would face up or down and finally level out. Currently, no element has done that. The only problem with this concept would be the banking. I don't know how the banking would turn out on this ride, but B&M is a very innovative company, and they have the brains and materials to figure out this small issue. After that problem is solved, B&M has a moneymaker on their hands. My last prediction for the B&M Surf Coaster is similar to an Intamin Blitz coaster. B&M is the master of floater airtime and overbanks. Floater airtime isn't usually seen on high-speed launch coasters. Because of this reason, I think that parks looking for floater-filled ride and a launch coaster that is more reliable than Intamin would head to B&M. B&M is currently the most reliable coaster manufacturer in the world. If parks want a launch coaster that doesn't break down too often, B&M is the obvious choice. And it would be a moneymaker. Now, as for what Surf would resemble in this ride, the coaster would probably consist of large overbank turns. B&M is also the master of overbanks, as shown by their Giga and Hyper coasters. Each turn provides some good forces and keeps its speed very well. Now, B&M has only made 2 launch coasters, but both have gotten rave reviews. Thunderbird at Holiday World uses LSMs, which is the most common type of launch. B&M has already dipped their feet in the water with LSMs, so with more and more launch coasters, they will soon master the element. I think that the Blitz coaster would expand B&M's lineup in a great way, and it would make sense for B&M as a company. As for what the layout would consist of, probably inversions, launches, and some turns resembling riding the waves. Before I end off the video, I would like to rank the predictions from least likely to most likely. Let's start out with the least likely, which is the water coaster. The water coaster is just not likely, as B&M has never really had experience with a ride like this. Also, the market for water coasters is very large, and even if B&M could add inversions, so could Intamin and Mack if people just asked them to. Also, why would SeaWorld buy a water coaster if they already have one? The number 3 prediction on the list is the Sideways coaster. This is because they are kind of similar to the spinning coaster, and even if they do cause a unique experience, there will certainly be problems with the forces on the turns. The only reason this is more likely than the water coaster is because B&M already has experience with the wing seats. Number 2 is the new generation stand-up. The stand-up was a huge success for B&M in the 90s, and bringing it back with new seats may be a huge success for the company. With new seats, parks would be buying this unique thrill, and coaster enthusiasts might find a new favorite ride. And the most likely is the launch coaster. This is because B&M already has experiences with LSMs on launch coasters, and they have great elements to fit into a layout. Also, it would be more reliable than Intamin, so more parks would order the B&M one, so it would bring a lot of cash to the company. What the Surf coaster will be is anyone's guess, but these are what I think the ride will be like. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button, as it helps out the channel a lot. Don't forget to comment down below, and join my classroom, the link is in the description. If you have questions or concerns, email me at coasterlegendyt@gmail.com, and I hope everyone has a great day.